What is going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Beards of Light. We're on episode 6 today. I am Kulo, joined by the awesome and ever welcome Gibbles. Uh,
Hey, it's doing.
we have a great action-packed episode for you today. Well, action-packed. It's going to be a couple hours today. We're going to be going over the JP Live letter, or the JP Fan Festival opening from a couple weeks ago. Giving people some time to kind of go over that. We're going to talk about some stuff that we expect to see in 7.0. Those patch notes have not been officially released yet, so we are waiting on those. Yeah, it's gonna be a great episode. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what the patch notes have to offer. Honestly, there's a lot of mystery into what we're waiting on for information. That'll all be good stuff. I think most of the news we're gonna talk about is gonna be stuff that's gonna be related to the patch notes and the live letter. So we will forego standard notes and news for this week. That and the websites are all down right now. They're doing work on the servers for JP. So a lot of stuff is just completely down. With that being said, let's jump into it. So I'm gonna start with 6.55 stuff we know is coming, and then kind of stuff that we're expecting or may expect, may not expect. We're not really sure. It hasn't really been clear. We'll use past patches to be able to kind of depict what we expect to see in the future. But with that, so what we know is coming to 655 is the last of the MSQ before 7.0. This has been pretty quiet as to what we're going to be seeing. We know that it's a ramp up that prepares you for Dawntrail, but they had been kind of really quiet about what to expect. By the end of it, there's a mystery visitor that's going to be coming, right? We didn't know who it was. We'll definitely get into who that is very briefly when we watch the live letter, because they do reveal who it is. We also know the final job for Dawntrail, because that information is going to be part of the MSQ. Or part of this patch 655. So we'll see some of that this patch. We know we're getting more Tataru's Grand Adventure Quests, which is the Island Sanctuary stuff. So that we know is coming, and we know that we're getting a cap on the Manderville weapon. So we're getting the last continuation of Manderville, which should cap it and theoretically make it the BIS weapon for this X-Pack. The return of the Allied Tribe quest is coming as well. So for those who are not familiar, ARR, Heavensward, Stormblood have a quest that binds the beast tribes to make them all allied. Shadowbringers does not, but Endwalker will. We're gonna be bringing that back. Bart, anything that you can think of that I'm missing on that?
Nothing I can think of.
Okay.
No.
So things that we don't know for sure are coming to 655. So given the time length between now and 7.0, there's been a small speculation by some people that the 8-man could unlock this patch. Traditionally, that is not the case. Traditionally, it unlocks on 6.5 on a .57. So we're not expecting this unlock to happen as much as people want it to happen. We're not expecting it. It will be. I think it'll get mixed reviews if it does happen. I don't know how I feel given the fact that we probably have what 7 months before at minimum before we see the X-Pack come out, Bard.
I mean, we're also like we've had this raid tier for what, 8 months. So
Forever.
I mean,
for a while, yeah.
So I mean, like, if we think about it in like less so in like, oh, which number are we on? How long have we had this? I feel like they might just say, yeah, let's just uncap it. I don't think they're gonna uncap the 24-man, but the 8-man, yeah. I think like just the time period that we've had, which is why I think everyone is like thinking that a lot of people are speculating that they will, just because of how long it's been.
Yeah, and so that was the other one. There were a couple. I've heard a couple rumors that people think that the 24 man's getting unlocked. I don't have any credibility that this is going to happen. So, that traditionally has been a 658 or a sorry, a .58 expect before the release. So I expect that that'll be if we get an 8-man this patch, it'll be a .57 for next patch. But I personally expect the 8-man to unlock with 657, and I expect the 24-man to unlock with 658. Let's see. I think that's it from the things that we know are coming. There's obviously going to be some fixes that they're going to put through. That will, attempt to balance things a little bit. I don't know how much balancing they're going to do at this point, given that everybody's going to be getting new skills in the next X pack. But we might see something, right? And then we'll also see just standard fixes that for things that are actually broken in the game.
Yeah, they can always tweak some skills just as like a test before 7.0.
Yep.
Right? If there's a skill they're thinking about like tweaking later, they might test the water a little bit of tuning it now. But
yeah. Some retro news that I've just thought about is they did kind of come back with the cloud data center testing. I know we talked kind of, in depth on this, that testing was very successful. And I wouldn't be surprised that that they'll prep this and then next hardware refresh, they just don't. They'll just migrate. Obviously before they did the test, they probably had the hardware in hand for the JP data centers that they were going to be swapping out. So that money was already spent. And the servers were already being set up, but it gives them a little bit more time to kind of mess with things. I would like to see this as the more permanent option. Honestly, I think it's a good option. People had a lot of success with it. I think it bridges the gap for us to do an open duty finder setup, so that people can be on their home planets or home worlds and not have to worry about not being in the right spot to do raiding. I know that's a big topic of issue for a lot of people, is that raiding is now on Aether, and therefore if you're not on Aether, then you're not getting into raids or high-end content. I guess that would be the other piece of it, because a lot of the EX Trials bills are there as well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I lost train of thought. Never mind. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. I know Bard had one point done a test of how long it takes to fill a party per each data center, and found that Aether was the fastest.
It was the only one that filled. So I went and I did a P1 party finder in each of the in each North American data center, and the only one that filled was Aether, and the other ones after 2 full drop down lockouts didn't fill.
So yeah, so that's rather important. So, but with that, let's get into the meat of today's session. So we are going to be shifting gears here and moving to our video cam. Hopefully this will load. Let me reconfigure the capture card here. Give me 1 second. Doing it live. This guy. All right, let's do this. And then hit okay. And then, man, I ironed all these wrinkles out today. And then something breaks. Hey, there we go.
I would anything the way you wanted to.
I know, really. Ever. Scuff stream for the win. All right. So we're about 32 minutes in. We're not going to watch the whole 10 hours, obviously, because that would be ridiculous. But we're going to watch a little bit. We might skip around a little bit. We might pause and discuss a bit. But yeah, I wanted to go through this. I'm going to probably jump through a little bit, but I wanted to get the first bit of opening. Cow, if you could just let me know audio, that would be great. And they are going to start with the trailer. So this is the new expanded trailer.
boundless possibilities. I dare say our destination will soon be in sight.
Enjoying yourself for a change?
I do think it's interesting they've essentially made Aaronville a full Scion.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think it's a good pull from Endwalker.
Come now. There's no cause for panic. This one might make for a worthy opponent.
The additions start coming around here, I think, for the third version.
Yeah, so this is the view of the new melee class Viper. Just at least in a trailer sense. So they always put both in the trailer. Good old Nutkin.
So they focused on Nutkin so much on the full trailer. I think he's gonna be the big bad evil guy.
To speak further.
Maybe it's
The main villain is Nutkin.
the main villain. He's the one that's gonna become the leader of the land. Look at we're doing all the hard work here. Everybody else is lounging. We're
Yeah, but I mean, like the for our character, it's already known that we like to fight. So I mean,
yeah. So again, Viper is twin blades wielded solo, and then bigger bursts. They've said with them combined together, and it will use ninja gear. Here we are with
expand on Taco.
the new caster class. That is Kryl, getting the new caster class. For those who guessed Pictomancer, were correct. And that
There were
is,
some, but it was definitely the underguessed one.
yeah, it was definitely the underguessed one. But the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles being Renaissance artists, therefore Pictomancer was the correct guess.
There. Look, my friends. Behold the scene of our next great adventure.
You and your adventures. I trust you have not forgotten the true purpose of our voyage?
At last we are come to the land you call the New World. My home. Tural.
I believe the song is still this song is also is the Primals and or like Soken and Amanda again, right? The Crystal Mommy.
Yep. All right, so we have some pleasantries that he goes through. I'm gonna try to run through these just for time's sake. And just so we're clear, the baseball uniforms are not a hey, we're having blitzball. So let's be clear on that. We're not getting blitzball.
We're gonna bully Yoshi P into getting us blitzball.
We're gonna eventually bully him into getting blitzball, but that is not the case this time. So we'll give him a second to do his introductions. He's trying to get through. Get to the point where we get his translator.
And also, like during the speech, a lot of what he talked about right there was like talking about the earthquakes that happened in Japan, and definitely heartfelt things out to everyone who suffered through that.
I was unable to attend
Yeah,
the London Fan Fest
And I do believe that the uniforms are in celebration of Shohei Ohtani and Yoshida. Not Yoshida. There's another baseball player who landed big contracts in the U.S. So that's it's a celebration of Japanese success in other parts of the country.
そんなにタコスね上がるんだね。
まあそうで、まあグラハ
So we'll let
夢の幕開けは僕の基調講演からスタートします。その内容はもちろんこちらになります。
You can also buy them, by the way, those the jerseys.
In Tokyo, this is
So,
a dreamlike fan fest being held in Tokyo
this part
Dome.
to me, I was actually
and we
kind
want
of
to kick it off with my keynote,
interested.
the subject of which
It
is,
was
of
fun, we
course,
found interesting.
拡張パッケージ黄金のレガシーの最新情報をお届けしてまいります。
the newest information on our expansion Dawn Trail.
そして気になる発売日なんですが、きっと3つ目のファンフェスだから発売日出るんだろうなと思っていると思うんですが、すいません、計画上の日程はもちろん決まってはいるんですが、現状ギリギリまでちょっとすいません、スケジュールの最終調整確認をしております。
So, given that this is the third Fan Fest, you're probably expecting us to announce the release date of Dawn Trail. Unfortunately, though, we do have an internal date that we are targeting. We are adjusting the schedule, making sure it's fine-tuned as much as it possibly can be before announcing, so we will not be sharing that today.
なんで慎重かというとですね、皆さん
But yeah, I found this interesting that they are still not committing to a date. I think this is in reference to Endwalker being pushed back a little bit.
He even says it, yeah.
Yeah, they don't want to have another situation like Endwalker where they have to have another week or two and don't have it.
そういったことがないようにギリギリまでしっかりした日程調
Yeah,
整す
because
る
he says, like, I think right here he says that Endwalker is the first time he ever had to delay
If
anything
you're wondering why,
ever.
well, it's because, as you know, for Endwalker, for the very first time in my career, we had to delay the release. We don't want that to happen again, even if it's just a few weeks. So we are taking great care to make sure that our schedule is on track before announcing, but we will get you that info as soon as we can.
I remember the Endwalker pushback was met with a lot of backlash, and then a lot of people just kind of were like, well, I would rather have a game that was more polished than a game that was rushed out.
People are
and
saying,
fixed
you mean
later."
October then? It's not going to be summer? It's going to be October, isn't it? No, no, it will be summer.
ちょっと
He's been hearing a lot of the jokes, right? We're all saying like he says summer, but that means
We
it could be
said in 16 we
September.
were going to release it in summer,
Yeah.
and it came out in June.
スクエニ時間じゃなく、14時間の夏でちゃんと出すようにします。
We will not be releasing on Square Enix time. We will be releasing on 14 time, which means properly in summer.
はい、できるだけですね、早く発売日の情報をお出しできるように、頑張りますので、ちょっと別の次の機会で、させていただければと思います。すいません、よろしくお願いします。
So we will work very hard to get you that info as soon as possible, and we'll have it for you next time. So thank you for your patience.
さあでは本格的に黄金のレガシーの中身についてお話ししていこうと思いますが、もちろん皆さんが一番気になっているのは
Of course, let's talk about the content of Dawn Trail and the thing you're most looking forward to.
There was a lot of people who were saying like,
ジョブの
oh,
追加
he
ですよ
normally
ね
comes out in the outfit for the
A new
job when
job.
they announce it.
さあ、
Why
気づきまし
isn't
た
he wearing
どん
the
なジョブで
outfit?
した
Did you figure out what job it is?
リルムって言われたジョブ名じゃない
That's not even a job name.
さあ僕があれこれ説明する前にですね動画で一番最初
My money was
こ
on
の動
mutant.
きをご覧いただこうと思います
You
Well,
what?
before you hear from me, let's
This is
see
my
it
money
on
was on
video.
mutant.
それでは
Oh.
どうぞ
Let's look at like this Pictomancer view is like I really like what they're doing with it. I like the way it looks. I like that the elements are caricature.
My question is, how annoying is the LB gonna look?
How annoying is the LB? I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see, aren't we?
Is the LB3 just gonna be like a giant thing of paint on the
Just
screen?
falls down from the sky. Yeah.
And it's just completely opaque and you can't see anything but paint.
ありがとうございます
Thank you.
They do some
Yeah,
quality of
well,
life
legacy.
stuff in this as well
新
that
ジ
I
ョブ
think is
第
really
2
good,
弾は
and
ピ
we'll
ク
talk
ト
about
マ
that
ン
as
サ
well.
ー筆を武器とする遠隔魔法 DPS となっています
The second job of Dawn Trail will be ranged magical DPS wielding a brush, the Pictomancer.
さあ皆さん予想の方は当たっていたでしょうか
Did you guess correctly?
ラスベガスのねファンフェスでちょっとね謎の僕 T シャツ着てましたが
Yeah, at Las Vegas Fan Fest, I wore a very mysterious T-shirt.
まあうまいことなんか2つのジョブのヒントっぽくなった
Yeah,
の
but
かなっていう
Yoshi, we don't care about that. We care about where's the mysterious
I
crop
feel like
top
it
you
was a
should be
good
wearing.
hint for both jobs.
Yeah, why isn't he wearing a crop top right now?
ピクトマンサーはですね FF6 に唯一登場したジョブになってます
Pictomancer was the only job to debut in Final Fantasy VI.
ファイナルファンタジー6では筆を使い敵のこうイラストを描いてね描いたその敵の、技を使うというジョブでした
In FF6, Pictomancer used their brush to draw their enemies and therefore use their techniques.
ファイナルファンタジー14ではその描くという部分を発展させピクトマンサーがさまざまなモンスターだけじゃなくて絵を描いてそれを魔法として攻撃や補助などの効果を発動させていくという見た目にも非常にユニークなジョブになってます
FF14's Pictomancer has a bit broader of painting skill. They can paint not only monsters, but landscapes and other things, not just the enemies that they are currently facing. And they also have a very unique appearance.
暁のメンバーであるクルルが今回ピクトマンサーにジョブチェ
One
ン
of the
ジする
funniest
ことにな
things
り
that I
まし
was
た
reading about is people that
And
people
the
in the modding
Scion
community
Kyle
that
has
are getting
become
excited for this.
Pictomancer.
ねクルルずっと
Oh, yeah.
ちょっと戦えなくてね
I could see a lot of possibilities
続いていたの
there.
できっと頑張ってくれたんだと
Different
思い
spells being
ます
changed into different paintings.
Because
and-
Kryl could never fight
Yeah.
before, right? She was always sort of stuck watching things
Well,
at
I know a
home.
lot of people were
I think
talking
she probably
about
tried really
trying
hard
to
to take
create
on
like
this new
how like
role.
the bard has the instruments you can add. Add something
Yeah.
similar to that to the game that's like painter, where like you can like drawings and everyone when we were talking about it, so like they're never gonna do that because there's too many risky possibilities that we
Oh,
know
for sure,
everyone in the
100%.
community is gonna do.
I'm seeing people saying, why isn't Yoshi P cosplaying the Pictomancer? But honestly, I think it would be a little bit difficult for me as a 50-year-old man to portray the image of this job.
I don't think so. Come on.
Call them to Limsa,
People are,
yes.
like shocked.
スタッフ真に受けるんで
Call them to Limsa.
というわけで
Or
今回はです
Batman.
ね僕の代わりにですね素敵なモデルさんに、新ジョブ衣装を着ていただいてます
But in my place, we do have a wonderful model who will be showing off this job gear.
ご登場いただきましょう
There
どう
was
ぞ
some
Let's call her
speculation that
out.
this was going to be Kryl's VO that was going to wear the outfit, but she because she made a mention about like getting ready for FanFest.
Mm.
But this is just a generic model. This is not the VO for Prof.
いやさすがでしょ
Wow, impressive.
う可愛いの声
It is a
ありがとうご
really
ざい
good
ます
cosplay, but it's also like a
どうです
fairly
かって見
like
てくださいよ
somewhat simple of like a
Really
design, I guess.
See,
Yeah, I
see,
think this is like
wouldn't be
this is
good
the
look on
base one
me.
that you get when you start the job. They said. So
Oh,
is like,
I thought this is gonna be the 99 gear.
no.
ちょっとコ
You
メ
mean
ン
the
トを
100
会
gear?
場の一斉に大
No,
丈夫
nine
に言われる
because
み
like
たいな
in
のやめて
Endwalker
も
we
らっていい
got
ですか
the gear at
Everyone
89,
keeps
not
saying
90.
no, it'd be fine.
Oh, that's
it'd
right.
look
That's
great.
right.
Please stop.
Yeah, no. This is supposed to be the starting
こち
gear.
ら新ジョブピクトマンサーのジョブ専用装備をまといイメージキャラクターとして登場していただきました
So our model here is wearing the job outfit for Pictomancer.
Yeah, the job
着
outfit.
心地はいかがですか
How does it feel?
良い
Good.
なんか
Yeah, so I think that's the
装備もうクオリティ
100 or
高い
99 gear.
確かにすごいな
Because the job
My
outfit's the
gear
one that
was
you get like
also high quality,
dyeable
but man, this is impressive.
later and stuff like that.
では、
Yeah,
ピクト
we'll
マン
have to
サーのね、紹介が終わるまでちょっとステージ上に一緒にいただきましょ
If you could stay up here while we finish introducing Pictomancer, that'd be great.
うではピクトマンサーの特徴を見ていこうと思います
So let's look at the details of this job.
まずロールに関しては先ほどお伝えした通り遠隔魔法 DPS で装備枠はキャスター枠になってます
So this will be range magical DPS using the gear of casting.
そして筆という専用の、武器を使います
And they have a special weapon that is their brush.
And no confirmation that there's an offhand on this. I imagine there probably isn't. I imagine the brush and the palettes will be a combo.
Yeah, I mean like Red Mage's crystal.
Yep.
I see you all on the stream saying you wanted to see my midriff. Please stop and pay attention now.
こちら対応クラスは
Details
ございません最初からジョブの状態で戦えます
I saw a
So
clip of
there
like
is
Mr.
no
Happy
requisite
saying
class
that
for
exact
this
thing
job. You
right
can just start
before.
from the
Yeah,
job
Yeah,
and,
he
itself.
said that.
and then he was like, "Stop watching my
そ
stream."
してスタートの初期レベルは80からとなっております
Starting level will be 80.
Yep, and that's standard.
ジョブクエスト
10
の
levels
開始
below
地は
previous
グルダ
max.
ニアとなっております
And the job quest will be beginning in Gridania.
黄金のレガシースタートの際には条件を満たしていればすぐにでも使用可能となっています
We have two that start in
So long
limbs though.
as
We have two
you've
that start
completed the
in.
requirements, you will be
Hold
able to pick
on.
up this job right
I'm
as
thinking
soon
we
as
have
you
a
Dania
single
has
get
one
into
starting
Gridania.
Gunbreaker, so it technically has two as well.
そうなんかグリダニアでジョブクエスト開始するの久しぶりなんです
I
よ、ね、
think after this, they'll
It's been a
probably
long
start
time
using
since
like
we had a
old
job quest
old
start in
Charlia.
Gridania.
はい、
Since you
結
have
構
to be,
特
you
徴
have to
的
be
な
level
ジョブ
90
クエ
to
スト
get
に
there
なっておりますのでジョブクエスト自体も、お楽しみください
or to get it.
The job quests themselves are also very unique, so I hope you'll look forward to that.
では続いてバトルのイメージに行きましょ
Now let's talk about what they're like in combat.
うまず先ほどお伝えした通り筆に魔力を込めて描いたイメージそれを力にして戦うのがピクトマンサーです
I'm excited to see what its
As we
rotation is going to be.
mentioned, the
Like how it's
Pictomancer
gonna play
concentrates Aether
more
in
so.
their brush,
Yeah, they've said a
to
little
release
bit.
their power by drawing pictures.
Yo, they said it's going to be like kind of longer. So I'm guessing this means longer cast
It's the
GCDs with
magic of an
OGCD.
So the way they mentioned
well.
it, it was more like Summoner, where there's a lot of short casts, but the bigger powerhouse hits
自体
hit
の
with a
絵を
longer
描くってい
cast.
うジョブだったんですが
The Pictomancer in 6 was drawing just their enemies.
ファイナルファンタジー14では相対する敵に関わりなくさまざまな
So I
生
think he
物や
mentions instacast, not even
武器
short
さらに
casts.
は風景を描いて効果を発揮させます
But regardless of what enemy they're facing, FF14's Pictomancer can draw creatures, weapons, and even landscapes.
結構あれですね VFX、エフェクトと呼ばれるものもピクトマンサー専用のタッチでちょっとね、
Oh, shit.
ドローイングされたような形でかなりね試行錯誤を繰り
Thank you for
返
the
し
rating,
て
Jay.
作っています
Welcome.
We have quite a
in,
few
welcome
original
in,
visual
Raiders.
effects for Pictomancer to really make it look like they are drawing.
絵を描く ためには詠唱時間がありますが、もちろんそれを補う無詠唱魔法とか
Yeah, so it also
ア
keeps
ビリティ
instant
も
cast
存在
abilities
して
and
いま
spells
す。
at the ready.
Of course, in
Yeah.
order to create a work of art,
So I think it's
gonna
like
take
I think
some
it's like some
time,
longer
but
GCDs
to
with
go along with that, you will also have instant cast spells and abilities.
with
Yeah,
cooldown.
I think that
Because
people
of
were
自身
speculating
が
that the
攻
instant cast
撃
would be
す
the
るだけで
movement
なく
GCDs.
パーティーを強化するような魔法も一部持っています。
And the Pictomancer does not simply attack, they also have magic that can buff their party.
サポートジョブ
So
と
no
いうわけで
res,
はないので、まあそういったとこ
can't
ろ結
remember
構
if
気
they
にさ
said
れ
that
る
yet
方
or
いる
not.
と
So
思うん
no
ですが、
res,
サポートジョ
but
ブ
they
という
do
わ
have
けではな
party
いですが
buffs.
黒魔
So
同
it
士の
puts
よ
it
うな
kind
攻
of
撃
in
特化ではないと
between
いう
Black
こと だ
Mage and
けお伝え
Summoner.
しておきます。
We wouldn't
Well,
say
puts it
it's a
kinda
full
like almost in
support
like
job,
the-
if that's what you're
the
thinking, but
biz
it is
range
not
category,
quite so
but as a caster.
attack-focused as something
Yeah,
like Black Mage.
but I mean between
ちなみに
in
普段
regards to casters, it puts it
遠
between
隔
Black
魔法
Mage and
DPS キャ
Summoner.
スターやってるよっていう方、どれぐらいいますか？
I don't consider
who's
Red
playing
Mage in this
ranged
because
magical
Red Mage
DPS
is
right now?
res is
結
like
構いますね。
pretty primary.
Quite a
It's more
few.
primary than
ピクトマン
Summoner.
サーはちなみに蘇生魔法は持っておりません。
Pictomancers cannot res you.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
no.
that's
さ
what I
あ
said
で
that,
は
yeah.
ちょっと頭の中イメージできた
This is
思い
FanFest
ますの
for
で
Final
先
Fantasy
ほどの動
14.
画もう一度ご覧いただこうかと思います。
So I think you have a good idea now in your mind of what Pictomancer might be like. So with that, let's take another look at the video.
We get another
Dozo.
shot of the same video.
The video almost looks like Lease
It does almost look like these.
or like 1.0 Minfilia a little bit too.
Yeah.
Smearcolemancer, kinda. It's called Pictomancer.
Yeah, it's called Pictomancer. It's from Final Fantasy VI's realm.
And this is
はい
the
ありがとう
sixth
ございま
expansion
す
too,
新ジョブ
technically.
ピクトマン
So
サーいかがだったでしょうか？
Thank you. How was it?
配信の
and we got
先にいる
Pictomancer from 6 and we
代表
got
選手の
Viper
方
from
からですね
12.
質問が届いておりました。絵が下手な僕でもピクトマンサーになれますかって。
So we have a question from the chat asking, okay, even if I am just terrible at art, can I be Pictomancer?
絵が死ぬほど下手な吉田にも使えているので大丈夫だと思います。
No colorblind
I
people.
am so bad at art that it is
Yeah,
like
only
just,
artists
just
people
so
can play
dreadful, and I'm
Pictomancer.
fine, so you'll be
If we
fine.
get a drawing.
美術一
Yeah,
律
there's
っ
a
て
drawing test before you can take the
言ってる
class.
方いらっしゃいますけど大丈夫です大丈夫です。
It does not require artistic skill.
はい。
You have to plug
で
in
は
a drawing
ピクトマンサー
pad
ありがとう
in-
ござ
into
い
your
ます
Plug in
computer.
the drawing pad.
Pictomancer.
Upload an image of a video of you drawing a picture.
Yoshi P has to verify it
That's
himself.
right. It requires verification.
さあここでちょっとピクトマンサーに関してですねドイツ語のプレイヤーの皆さんに一つお知らせがございます。
Now we do have one announcement about Pictomancer for our players playing in German.
This is the
これま
quality
で
of life
ファ
update,
イ
and
ナ
I'm
ルファンタジ
actually
ー
really excited
6
about
のオ
it.
リ
I
ジ
think
ナ
it's
ル
really
それ
smart.
からピクセルリマスタードイツ語版
What's
で
them
は
just changing the name?
ジョブ名をですねこのように
Yeah,
表記して
so
ました。
in
今
the
パワーポイントに
German
載
it
せ
was
ます。
duplicant,
So
and
in
they're changing it to
FF6, both
Pictomont,
the
but they're
original
also
and remaster,
changing it for all
Pictomancer
future
had
iterations
previously
of Final
been
Fantasy.
translated as Duplicant.
Well,
Duplicant.
I think what they were also he was also saying that like anytime going forward they're gonna add new classes. There's the potential for them changing the names of them depending on translations.
Right, but then that name will be what's
yes,
stuck
duplicate
throughout
has
all
a bit of
future
a
iterations of the
special
game,
meaning in
of any
MMOs, you
game
know,
of Final Fantasy.
dupes of items.
でおそらくですね、まあ、モンスターをコピーするデュプリケートするような多分イメージで当時ドイツ語のジョブ名作られたんだと思います。
But at the time, because the job was in fact duplicating your enemies, that's why they translated it with a name that means duplication.
ただ実際こうピクトマンサーというジョブに関してその敵の姿をコピーするだけではなくていろんな絵を描くっていう遊びを
Maybe.
ピクトマンサーに作っていこうとするとどうしてもジョブ名とイメージの開きが出てしまうので 今回、FF シリーズ全体で協議をしてですね、14
And there's already
の
like
ドイツ語版では
two
今
classes
書
that
かれてい
technically
る
clone
ように
themselves
どちら
as
かという
well.
ともうピクトマンサーに近い、こちらも造語になりますがジョブ名を、作りました。
However, because 14's Pictomancer is focused around creating original works of art, not just duplicating, we thought there would be quite a gap between the name if we use the legacy translation. So therefore, for all of the FFs, we will now be using this new name, Pictomant.
今後また新たな FF シリーズでピクトマンサーが登場する際には今回作った、ピクトマントというドイツ語表
But
示
yeah,
を
I'm
使
glad
ってい
that
こう
like
と思いますの
it's
で
now like
ミスではないのでドイツ
anytime
のプレイヤーの
Pictomancer
皆
will
さ
be
ん、
used in future
しっか
Final
り協議
Fantasies,
した
it
上で
will
FF シ
always
リーズ全体として決めましたので、
There
ご
won't
理解い
be,
ただけますと
you
助
know,
かり
there
ま
won't
す
be any
So at
oddball.
future Final Fantasy games, you will see Pictomant as the name for this job. So please know that's not a mistake. We didn't forget the old name. This is this choice we made for all of Final Fantasy with everyone involved. So thank you, and we hope you'll enjoy the new name.
やっぱりこうシリーズね歴史が長いとこう発展していく中で当時ねその限定した機能に対してだけ名前を付けたものが後になってねこうそれを拡張しようとすると噛み合わなくなるっていう結構例かなとは今回思いました。
Honestly,
Yeah,
when you
the
have such a
jerseys are really
long-running
cool.
series as Final Fantasy, you will
You can buy
run
'em
into
for like
these
$60
cases where
Yeah, they're like
what
60
made
bucks.
perfect sense at the time is
They've
no
got different
longer
color
working
iterations
for
as
us.
well. They've got
And
dark
this is a
ones.
great example of the sort of stuff we deal with.
ただ
Supposed
や
to
っぱ
be
り
a
シリーズ
Warrior
の
Flight
可
Warrior
能性
Focus
とか
thing.
発展性ということを考えたときに変更しなければいけないというタイミングがあるというのも今回しっかり議論した上で決めましたので、似たような事例ね今回はドイツ語でしたけどいろんな言語でまた出てくる可能性もありますので、なんとなく頭に入れておいていただけると助かります。
But you know, as we grow and develop as a franchise,
Well, he usually
we
comes
really
out in
need to
cosplay,
adapt
too.
In the way that
For
is
the
best for Final
FanFest, yeah, after
Fantasy's
the-
future.
after
And this
the
time it
classes are
only
announced.
affected German, but I think it will probably happen in all languages at certain points. So just remember that that's what we're bearing in mind when we make these decisions.
さあでは続けてさまざまなキャラクターが登場するこの黄金のレガシーそのストーリーについても、触れておきましょう。
So let's move on to the story of Dawn Trail, which will feature myriad characters.
今回皆さんにお届けするのは再三
This was
英
the
雄
end
光の
of
戦士への最高の夏休みとお伝えしてきました。
As we've mentioned, we will be giving you the greatest summer vacation a warrior of light could have.
新たな冒険そしてそのバカンスの目的は西方トラル大陸になります。
The site of this vacation and our new adventure will be the continent of Tural.
依頼されるのはトラル大陸にあるとある王国の王位継承霊星の助力です。
And the reason we will be going there is for the right of succession for a nation over there.
その依頼主となるのが
And the person who has requested our help
こちらのキャラクターです。
is her.
トラル大陸の王女ウクラマトと
I know a lot of people are
いうキャラクター
complaining
に
about
な
her
ります
chin. I know I am.
This
Like her
character is
her
Vuklamat.
snout's
She's
like
the
too short.
daughter of the current ruler of Tural.
I do like
な
that
ん
they
とな
showed the
くね
preview of the
あんまり見
female
たこと
Hrothgar,
のな
and
い
it was a lot
種族
better.
にも見えるんですけれど
I feel like I haven't seen this before.
ミコってだよね多分ね
Is it a Mikote?
Mikote.
そうですよね。
多分ちょっと体質的にちょっとモフモフしてるミコってだと思います。
I think it's just a really, really fuzzy Mikote. まあ、それしかないですよね。
そうですね。じゃあ気にしないで先進みましょう。
She does.
Don't worry about it.
It looks almost
こ
like
の王位継承レー
like
ス
a cat's
というの
like
は
the Broadway
さま
cats
ざまな候補
face
者が
makeup
入り乱れ
because the
て
chin
競う
sits
も
where
の
it
に
would
なって
normally
いま
if you
す。
took the
So in this rite of succession,
the
we will
upper
be
lip
competing
and nose
with
off.
other various contestants for the throne.
その
When you see the actual full trailer, like the rest of them don't really seem like they had that problem, but this shot
There will
specifically,
of course
like
be a lot of
maybe the angle, the
revelations and
lighting, something
various
they did with
dramatic
this
turns
design.
along the way.
その王位継承レースというからには他にも候補者います。
looks like the
looks
Grinch.
like the
Of
Grinch a little
course,
bit.
as
Yeah.
a contest, we do need people to compete against.
さらに暁
Yeah,
のメン
if
バ
you
ーが
look
そこ
at
に
if
ど
you
う
look
関
at
わっていくのか
Broadway
それはぜ
cats,
ひ
like the
皆さんの
Broadway
目
show
でお
cats,
確かめください。
that face makeup
And
and the way
so
that
I
they
hope you
do
look forward to
the
finding out how
the cat
exactly the
upper
other
lip is very
scions
similar.
play into that competition.
今ご紹介したこの新たな登場人物であるウクラマトなんですが、いよいよパッチ 6.55 のメインクエストパート2から登場となります。
As for Wuklamat, who we've introduced today, you will be able to meet her in patch 6.55 part 2.
早速ですね
Wait, 2 seconds.
非常にキャラ性強いキャラになってますんで、ぜひですね皆さんの手で、新しい物語のまさに序章をですね、体験していただければと思います。
She is a very strong character, so I hope you look forward to getting to know her.
All the muscle mommies.
そんな気になる分かったじゃあパッチ 6.55 はいつなのかねと。
Okay, so you're wondering,
The
I'm
cat
sure,
cam
when
tag
is
fits now,
patch
yeah.
6.55 coming
Yeah.
out?
パッチ
muscle mommies
6.55 は
and muscle
1月
muscle
16
like cat
日
mommies
公
and
開
cat
となりま
daddies.
す。
Will be coming out on January 16th.
That's almost like
さす
that's
がにね来週
today.
の日はすいませんちょっと
Tomorrow.
僕らファンフェスの疲労で倒れているので厳しいので中1週空けて、リリースさせていただき
I
ま
mean,
す。
today in Japan.
Obviously, after FanFest is over, we are all going to be passed out, so we're taking a week and
The
then
the
releasing.
the update is
なお
currently
ですね
happening
すいま
right
せんパ
now.
ッチ 6.55
Yeah, the 24
は
hour maintenance is
24時間
happening
メンテナン
as
スを
we
予
speak.
定してます
Should be finishing
And
here in
also, we are planning to have a 24-hour maintenance for this patch.
これはですね
2
パッチ
8 hours
6.55の
Yeah,
公開
about
作業に
7,
合わせて
7 hours and
皆さん
appointments.
の日本の全データセンターの各種まあいわゆるサーバー機材ですね、まあものすごい高性能サーバーがたくさん並んでるんですけど、それを最新の機材に全て入れ替えるという作業を同時に行わせていただきます。
Something like that.
This is because we will be replacing the entire Japanese data center infrastructure with newer machines.
これによってですね、さらに安定性増しますし、いろんなことが、
I'm wondering if
まあ
the infrastructure update is to like actually give like
それらの
a little
メンテナン
bit
スと
like if it's
それ
going
から
to
最新
help
機器の入れ替えということを、
push them a little bit better
すいません
into
ちょっと長時間のメンテナンスになりますが、ご承知
servers
ください。
We're sorry that it's such a long maintenance, but
Get
this
some rest. Go
will
bed, Jay.
contribute to future
Okay.
stability and our ability for the servers to handle things like items and housing, so we ask for your understanding.
はい、では続いて新たな冒険の舞台となる西方トラル大陸追加情報を、見ていきましょう。
So let's take a look at some new information about Tidal.
こちら、オールゼアの全体図ですね、三大洲の西方に位置する巨大な大陸です。
So on the map, you'll see that
Just
it
dealing
is
with
to
putting
the
children
west
to
of the
bed.
three great continents.
こちら左に見えるのがトラル大陸ですが、
And on the left is what we've shown you so far.
まあ、こちらですね。
Good night, MJ.
で今回
I also wasn't expecting to get the whole
トラル大
continent
陸というのは
as
です
well.
ね、南北に大
I was
きく
really expecting it to be like
大
just
陸
like a
が存
small
在していて、今回の舞台となるのは、その南北トラル大陸を股にかける冒険になります。
But Tidal is actually a very massive continent expanding from north to south, and we will be going that full length during our adventure.
なので最新の、14の世界地図はこのようになっております。
So this is the full new map.
そしてご紹介してきた今回新たにプレイヤーの皆さんプレイヤータウンとなるのがトライオラです。
And this is the new player hub that we introduced to Yolao.
このトライオラ自体がこの南北のトラル大陸をつなぐ橋の役目を持っています。
Tuliolo actually functions as a bridge connecting the north and south parts of the continent of Tidal.
先ほど公開したトレーラーの方にもこうやって巨大な橋
The
出て
two
いた
hubs
と思い
really
ます。
juxtapose each
As you
other.
saw in the trailer, there
Yeah.
is a literal bridge.
今回の冒険はこのトライオラを中心にトラル大陸の南北をまたいでの大冒険となります。
So the Tuliolo will be at the center of our adventure. It will span from north to south of Tidal.
まあ、南北文化的な統一感というのは、まあ、ある程度はあるんですけど、
Oh.
ここで
That was
は
me, sorry.
ちょっとネタバレで言えないさまざまな出来事により南と北で 大きく物語が揺れ動いていくことになります。
There's a degree of unity between the cultures of the two due to certain developments that I will not share here. There will be major story developments in
We're
both
watching
North
the
and South
beginning
Tyrol
opening,
that will change the
and
story
then we're gonna
significantly.
probably do a small
So you can almost think of it
discussion
as a two-part structure.
もちろん一つの壮大な物語 7.0 自体で、そうなっていますが、内容をねやってみると二部構成に近い
They only go over
新しい我々のチャレンジにも見え
the
るかもしれま
7.0 and
せん。
patch stuff at the beginning
Of course,
portion of it.
the
They move
whole
on to
story
developer
overall
stuff, so
is
we're not
one
gonna watch. We're
unified
gonna watch
story,
the
but
developer
you may
panels or anything
feel
like that.
like it does have two distinct arcs when you play through it.
Yeah, no worries.
では新たなフィールドを、振り返りと新しい情報を交えつつ、ご紹介していこうかなと思います。
So let's both review and take a look at some new information on field areas.
まずこれまではスクリーンショット等々でしか出せなかったものをまとめてですね、既存の情報公開した部分動画にして、ダイジェスト動画を作ってきましたので、まずはそれをご覧いただきましょう。
So far, we've only been able to show you a few clips and screenshots, but we've put together all the materials we have so far into a collection that we will show you now.
それではどうぞ。
Also, how many zones do we know of? Have we seen?
Normally
Is it like 3?
6 total.
Well, there's usually 6. There's usually 6 zones.
Right.
But how many zones have we seen? Is what I'm saying.
Or so far before this, we've seen like 1 or 2. So now I think we're gonna see. I want to say we see 4. But I would take this as zone 2. As the atmosphere change.
Now we have a full Western, so people can recreate Back to the Future 2. I think this is zone 3. It might be part of zone 1 though too, right here.
Yeah. It's really, I mean, a lot of it's really pretty, and you can see that they're putting in the detail that they've been pushing for the update.
You also don't know how large these maps are too.
Right, that's true.
ありがとうございま
Yeah,
す。
so there's
Thank
two.
you.
These are 2 areas. The
さてさて、かなり冒
the one
険
on the
の
right
イメー
reminds
ジ
me of
多いですね。自然地形、
Amarang.
そういった数々ご覧いただきました。
No, I mean,
So
there's,
we've
like,
taken a look at
deserts
some
in
natural scenes that really speak of
Every
adventure.
expansion, every game, pretty
で
much.
はここからはですね、まあ既存エリアの紹介でしたので、さらに新たなエリアを、ご紹介していきます。
But those were areas you've seen before, so let's look at some that you haven't.
ちょっと今まで見たものとは毛色が変わるので、あまりすみません多くは語れないです。
These are pretty different from what you've seen so far, and for that same reason, we can't tell you a whole lot about them.
その点すみませんご了承ください。
Please understand.
まずはすみませんいきなり動画からいこうと思います。
We'll start with a video.
どうぞ。
This is zone 3.
Well, this is the hub right here, I believe.
I don't think this is too big to be the hub. I don't think. It's like it's so drastically different. It's
突然
amazing.
の絵代わりに会場騒然としておりますが、
Yeah, so it was a pretty sudden change of visuals there.
こちらのエリア、まあちょっとね動画の方では本当オブジェクト全然出せない、ネタバレが強くて出せないんですが、 エリアの名前をソリューショ
Because
ン
really, like right here, he says that's the in-game hub.
We really can't show you a lot of specific objects from this area because it would be spoilers, but we can tell you it's called Solution 9.
こちらのソリューション9も、まあ、プレイヤーの、皆さんが滞在する大都市がトライアラだとすると、こちらショータウンの状態になってます。
This too will function as a town, much like the player hub of Tuliolal.
ではちょっとだけ説明をしておきましょう。
I will explain it just a
A lot
little
of the
bit.
shots could have been out of
トライア
bounds
ラ
as
と
well.
は全く異なる文明によって築かれた摩天楼都市となっています。
Yeah, in order to
So
avoid
this has
spoilers.
been constructed by a totally different civilization than Tuliolal.
まあ、そんなの見たらわかるよっていう話だと思うんですけど、
I think you can probably tell just by looking.
まあ、名前の由来はですね、すいません、いろいろご想像ください。ちょっとだけスクリーンショットもお見せします。
But maybe have a think about why it might be called Solution 9. And we have one more screenshot to show you.
まあもう今まで皆さんが思い描いてきた黄金のレガシーのイメージがガラガラと音を立てて崩れ去っていく感じがしますね。
I feel like we are loudly destroying any mental image you might have had for Dawn Trail right now.
すいません、ちょっと先ほど言いましたが、オブジェクト等はね、ネタバレが強いのでいろいろちょっと削除したスクリーンショットになってるんですけど、まあ、実際にはいろんなオブジェクト存在してます。
Like I said, we can't really show you specific objects in this setting because it would be a spoiler, so we've kind of erased them all, and this is just the background.
まあビルなのか、こう施設なのか、これね、かなり雰囲気が今までと異なってます。
But are these buildings? Is this a facility? In any case, it's quite different from what we've seen.
先ほどもお伝えした通り、このソリューション9、プレイヤーの皆さんのショータウンでもあるので、かなり施設や設備の多い場所となっています。
But as I mentioned, it will be a player hub, so you can expect a lot of different facilities and features there.
どんな物語になるのか、そもそもここはどういった場所なのか、これまでの今までのね 6.X シリーズまでとも異なる雰囲気での冒険、いろいろご想像ください。
But you know, as for what this place actually is, what sort of story will take place here, you'll just have to imagine for yourself something that is quite different from what we've seen thus far up to Sex Point X.
ではもう少しだけ新しいエリア紹介していこうと思います。
And I'll show you one more area now.
こちらはアートワークとなってい
But
ます。
here's our third area.
This is the concept art.
こちら新たなエリア名ヘリテージファウンドと
I
言い
think
ます。
the like dome above us
This
is
area is called
in the
Heritage
screenshot is
Found.
Solution 9.
Maybe.
もう謎しかないですね、これね。
So it's
I
almost
made a
like
lot of
a Yulmore.
蒸気機関
I made a lot of
を持った
jokes about
よう
it
な
this being
列
like
車が走ってます。
There
Sector
seems to be a
5
steam-powered train.
from Final Fantasy 7.
まあしかもこう、
Yep.
これアートワークですけど、
What's like
手
underneath
前
the-
と
the
奥と
plates.
で異なったね文明が
Yeah,
混
it
ざってるように
reminds
見
me a
え
lot
ま
of
すが、こちらは
the
一つ
Yulmore
のエ
and
リア
the
の
town
中
below
になってま
Yulmore.
す。
And it certainly looks
That
like the stuff
combination.
in the foreground and the stuff in the background were constructed by different civilizations, but this is all one area.
異常なほどですね、奥側電気に満たされた地域になってます。
This area is absolutely replete with lightning energy.
ではここからはですね、ちょっともう説明ができないので、スクリーンショットだけちらちらお見せします。
But I can't really give you any more explanation than that, so we'll just take a look at a few more screenshots.
なので 7.0 黄金のレガシーにはいろんなエリアが出てくるよと思っていただければ助かります。
And you'll just have to take this in the spirit of there are a variety of areas coming.
ではまず1枚目、もうまあこれまでね黄金のレガシー自然地形とか荒野ばっかり紹介してきたんですけど、まあ、こういった地域もあって複数の文化というのが混在しています。
So far we've shown you a lot of fields and natural scenery, but as you can see here,
Does
there's
feel like
also
they're doing
these
a lot more
very
modern-
unique areas with cultures
Modern
Yeah.
stuff
intermingling.
with
I don't know how I feel about it,
ね
if I'm
バレマール帝国
really.
っぽいイメージにも
Yeah, I mean, I
見えな
guess
く
we'll
も
see
な
how
い
it
んですけ
blends.
ど、ちょっと違いますね。
It looks a little bit like Garlemald, but not quite.
バレマール
Because I already had like a little bit of like a on like a lot of the newer
Black
like
and red.
modernish clothing
Yeah,
of
so
Natty
anyway,
Windwalker.
Yeah.
奥に見えるのは先ほどのアートにも見えていたタワーなのか何なのか。
In our second screenshot here, in the background, you can see that same thing, whatever it is, a tower maybe?
まあ、こういった地域だとしても人々は、ここでたくましく力強く生きています、これらはダンジョンではなく、プレイヤーの皆さんが冒険するフィールドとなってます。
But even in an area as strange as this, we have people living their lives. This is not a dungeon.
なんかここで釣れる主どんなやつなんだろうなって想像すると
See, the
I wonder
screenshot's
what
not
kind
dungeon,
of,
but maybe there's a
big
dungeon
fish you
behind
can
them.
fish up here.
Maybe there's a dungeon
そし
somewhere
て
else.
最後、こんな場所もあ
Oh,
り
look,
ま
a
すというの
carousel.
だ
Oh,
け
it
お伝
can't be
え
so
してお
bad.
き
They got a
ます。
There's
carousel.
also this, and that's all I'll tell you.
まあ、とにかくですね、7.0 黄金のレガシー
It's a dredge carousel. It's
ものを
alive.
詰め込んだ
It will eat
拡張
souls.
が入っています
I could 100% see that
どん
being
な
a
エリアなの
boss.
か何が待っているのか
Being
い
what?
ろいろご想像してい
Being a
ただければ嬉しい
Yeah,
です。
probably.
I can
But
see
what
that
we
being
showed
a
you is
What are we,
that
Kingdom
Dark
Hearts
Trail
now?
will have a
I can see that being a
variety
raid
of,
boss. I can see that being a
areas and things to
24-man boss,
experience,
a
so let
dungeon
your
boss.
imagination run wild.
I was already thinking like the
So,
Solution
they were-
9
area
looks
no
like the
showcase
fucking end of Kingdom Hearts 3. Or like the trailers of Kingdom Hearts 4 almost.
この
little
地
bit.
域に住まう部族たちのおさらいをまずはしていこうと思い
We're gonna
ます。
find Yozola in there.
But now that we've talked about the areas, let's talk about the people who live there who might become your potential allies.
これまでにペルペル族、
We're gonna get
それから
llama
モブリン
friends.
族を紹介してきました。
We've
We
already
need a llama
introduced the
mount probably
Pelupelu
from
and the
Pelupelu.
Moblins.
もともとですね、この地域、巨人族文化も
More
強
Vanu.
く根付いており、オールゼアとは異なる夜深海族という巨人たちも見受けられます。
So in this area, there is a deep-rooted culture of giants. Though they're not called giants, they are called the Yokhui.
バヌバヌ族にも似た姿のちょっとねカラフルな
The
種族で
the
すが
NPC in the
ハヌ
middle
ハ
gives
ヌ族
me
と言います
Albed
We also
vibes
have
from
these
Final Fantasy X.
colorful folks who look
That's
quite
exactly-
similar to the
well,
Vanu
well,
Vanu,
it's from
and
Final Fantasy
indeed they are
X, the
called
Pelupelu.
the Hanu Hanu.
There's when in Final Fantasy X-2 specifically, there is a Pelupelu that helps you out.
いいなって言われそう
Although
ハヌ
they
族です
they exist in Fantasy X, they don't really talk to you
Yes,
too much,
so they
or
are
they
called
don't
the
they don't really
Hanu Hanu.
voice lines or like that, or and they're named.
そして
But there is a
何よりですね
Pelupelu in
今回
X-2 that you is
注目
named
な
and
の
you
はこちら
interact with. And
様々
has a
マ
pretty
ムージャ
big
た
part.
ち登場してきます
Yeah.
But the most important
which is part of why I was
this
hoping for a
area
lot more
are the
Fantasy
Mamuja.
X
ト
in
ライオ
this
ラを収めてい
expansion
る
was
相
because of the
当
Pelupelu.
2つの、ね、頭を持つマムージャグルージャジャを筆頭にですね数多くのマムージャ族が登場してきます
The most prominent example is, of course, the current ruler of Tuliolo, the two-headed Gulul Jaja, but there are plenty of other Mamulja of all shapes and sizes.
まあここでちょっとスクリーンショットで紹介しているのはまあその一部になりますが多様な、部
not
族
all
が
the same.
登場して物語の中でもその部族同士の多くの価値観というのが、物語上
the baby
提示されていきま
Mamulja
す
is crazy, hilarious to
What
me.
we're showing you in the screenshot is but a small sampling. In the story, I think you'll find that the Mamulja are very diverse, including their perspectives and values.
まあ彼らと光の戦士である皆さんが出会いどのような冒険の道を進んでいくのかそしてプレイヤーである皆さん自身が今回の物語からどういったものを感じ考えていただけるのか僕自身も非常に楽しみにしつつ制作を進めています
I'm really looking forward to seeing how meeting the Mamulja will change your adventure and also how you specifically will feel about them and what you will take from this story.
さてさてじゃあここからはですね各種システムのアップデートそれからコンテンツについて、お伝えしていきます
So now let's move on to system updates and more details about the individual content.
現状お伝えできる最新の情報をすべて盛り込んで 7.0 全体をお話ししていこうと思いますそして 7.x シリーズにも触れていきます
So we will be giving an overview of all of 7.0 as well as 7.x, including as much new information as we can share right now.
まあすみませんまずは何度もお伝えして恐縮なんですがついに皆さんのレベルキャップが100になります
As we've said a few times, the level cap will be raised to
Then we
100.
see a couple of the job armors.
Sorry.
Q14 からやってるよという方どれぐらいいらっ
The
しゃいます
warrior
か
one looks like every
How
other
many of you
warrior
have been
one.
playing since 1.0?
Yep.
おありがとうございますありがとうございま
Thank
す
you.
皆さんとはね足掛け13年以上の旅路になりました。
It's been more than 13 years together.
うわすごいコメントでもたくさんね手を挙げていただいてます。本当にありがとうございます。 皆さんのおかげでね
Comment as well.
我々今こんな場所で各賞についてお届けできているので本
That's
当にあ
cool
りがと
how
うご
they
ざい
have the
ます。
comments floating
Thank you all
by.
so much. We've gotten to this point because of you.
もちろん、申請スタートのタイミングから始めてくださった方、最近始めてくださった方も含めて、光の選手の皆さんがいてくださるからこそここまでね我々開発チームの長い旅でもこの10年あったと思うので、その果てにですねついにレベルキャップが3桁になると、これ長く続けられないと到達しないので本当にありがとうございます。
Of course, all of you who joined from 2.0 and those of you who have started playing recently as well are equally important. We could not have gone on this long, long journey of 10 years without you and reached this milestone of a 3-digit level cap.
さあでは今日お伝えしたピクトマンサーも含め、7.0 ではバイパーとピクトマンサー2つのジョブが実装となります。
So including Pictomancer that we introduced today, as well as Viper, we will have 2 new jobs in 7.0.
ちょっと質問してみようかな。
So let's
バイ
ask,
パ
A
ー
lot of people are
バ
really
イパ
excited
ー
for
やるぞ
Viper.
っていう方、
A lot of people
who's
are
going to
what?
play as Viper?
Really excited for Viper.
Yeah.
お
Especially this one dude who's doing like a lot of like ultimate recruiting right now,
Maybe
and like a bunch of people who are trying like, hey, I want to join
ピ
your
クトマン
ultimate
サーやるわっていう方。
stuff, and but like I'm
Who's gonna
doing
play
this, but I plan on doing Viper and
多いな。
I'm Black
Wow,
Mage, I
there's
plan on
a lot
doing
of you.
Viper in
いやいやい
7.0.
やいやいやいや何言ってんだよ。結局全部やるんだよっていう人。
Who's going to play everything?
当然やろうみたいな感じでありがとうございます。
Everyone's like, yeah, obviously I'm going to do that. Thank you.
おコメントでもそりゃそうだろ
Of course.
う。まずはピクトマンサー、バイパー、どっちもやる。結局全部やるって書いていただいてます。ありがとうございます
A。lot of folks saying, I'm going to do both. I'm going to play them all. Thank you so much.
新ジョブだけじゃなくて他の、既存ジョブに関しても、
They better give us
レ
some
ベルキャッ
mount
プから
for
押された
capping
新たな
all
アク
100.
ション追加されますし、大きなメンテナンスが
I mean, did they do that one? Did they do that for 90? I know they did it for 80.
しっか
They
り
did it for
アップデート
80,
してい
but
こう
they
と
gave
思
us
い
a
ます
dumb hat for 90.
Of course,
that
it
people
won't
were
just be
very
our new
upset with.
jobs. With the level cap being raised, we will be adding new actions and updating our previous jobs as well.
では続いてバトルコンテンツ、ちょっと基礎バトルコンテンツ、新情報も含めてですね、いろいろお話ししていこうと思います。
So let's talk about the core battle content, including some new info.
もうこの辺り今表示されているものは
It was all
今
pretty
回も
standard
しっかり
stuff
あり
that
ます
we're
よ
used
という
to.
ことをお伝えするだけです。
I want to try to press through this bit.
昨非常に順調に進んでます。
Dungeons, which we've seen a little bit
Stay-
of.
To show you also that will not be spoilers for you.
Here's some of the dungeons. Again, you can really see that they're focused in on that new the new graphical update. This stuff looks really pretty.
I think a lot of like the beauty and depth of stuff like is kind of lost in like a lot of these cinematic panes
Yeah.
versus like just actually being in the world.
Yeah, but you can see the potential, right? I mean, obviously it's not fully polished because it's still development, but the changes to the lighting and whatnot.
This version of the
I'm gonna
本当に
skip through some of
もちらほら
this.
出始めて、
gotten to the point of
The lighting
my
change is gonna
first
be
stage of
huge
quality checks
overall.
on some of them.
Yeah.
続いてこちらすでに
Here's some of the
ご紹介した
That's a barrel cactar.
エリミネーターと
Is what they-
Be careful who you call ugly in high school.
So far,
In middle school,
Volleyball
really.
ちょっ
What?
と
Be careful who you call ugly in middle school.
Yeah, no kidding.
点
Barrel 10. You can't
I love that,
Oh,
that
they are
picture
doing
you
more.
sent me.
miss the NPC as well.
そしてもちろん
And of course, while you're fighting, you will want these duty support updates on your journey.
今回クルルがピクトマン
Duty
サー
support
に
update,
ジョブチェンジ
Nutkin
しておりましたので、 ついにコンテンツサポーターデビューの
Yeah,
よう
Nutkin's
な
gonna be
気
the
がしてお
new,
ります。
Given that Kral has changed to Pictomancer, I
new-
feel like she will
He's
be
a
making her
fizz
new
range. He's
support
gonna throw
debut.
nuts at the enemy.
クールさんおめでとう
Oh
ございま
yeah, I
す。
forgot Kryle's
Congratulations,
now gonna
Kryle.
be
ちょっとね、僕
gonna
クー
be
ルさんに
a
ちょっと歌詞が大きな歌詞が
be a
一個
support person now.
消せないやつがずっとあるんで、借りだった。もう
I feel like
たちはくれること。
sorry.
それから新しいクラフトと。
Yeah, I think she was like kind of just a generic healer before. Like she did pull out like a white mage or
Of
conjure
course, as
staff.
an expansion, we will have
Before, but
a
never
lot
fought
of
with us.
She
new
wasn't
recipes.
in. She wasn't one
今
of the
回拡
trusts
張
before.
7.0で
They're
新
saying
た
she's
に
being added as
登
a
場する
trust
新
this
装
round.
備というのは全て第一次グラフィックスアップデートの仕様によって
So this is
Oh,
the
so
dual
We'll have
channel. I mean, it's new armor, but it's
Awesome.
also the dual channel stuff.
こ
So you can definitely see. I'll pause here for a second. You can definitely see where the coloring is going to come in, and you're going to be able to really get customized coloring, where it's going to give you that next level of customization,
左
which
か
is
ら
going to be
召
great.
喚師、侍、賢者、ガンブレーカーとなってますね。
I got called out by Yoshi-P in the middle of this when I was watching it.
Summoner, Samurai,
Why?
Sage, and Gunbreaker.
Because I was like, Yoshi-P, really? These colors together? And then like at the end of his thing, you can question my color choices
それぞれ
later.
のパーツに異なる素材感という、それから質感、シワの入れ方っていうのまで相当こだわって作ってます。
It's a little bit hard to tell from the screenshots, but each element of these outfits, in terms of textures, quality, and details, are really much improved.
今回は特に注目。
Yeah, so they're definitely focused on
Look
the
at this.
graphical update.
飛行士、リ
more of the
ー
armor.
パー、先生術師、そして
Again,
ナイト
lots
で
of good
す。
coloration
So here we
changes.
have Machinist, Reaper, Astrologian, and Paladin.
まあ
The Astro
光
looks
の
like
当たり具合
Merlin.
だとあれですね。飛行
I
士
think the
は
Astro is kind of lame
わ
as
かり
for
やすいかも
job
しれないですね。クオリティ。
gear.
I think
Yeah.
the quality might be easiest to see with the Machinist.
It kind of looks like a toned down.
これら装備はブラッシュアップ、
version of the
それから調
60
整というのをリリースギリギ
Moving
リ
Yeah.
だけでな
be job
ちらっと。
on.
I mean, at some point,
That there
you've
will
got
be
so much stuff that you're not
expansive
going to be able to
new
do new
lifestyle
stuff all the time.
企画
No, I
内
mean,
容は
Paladin
です
looks the
ね
same,
固ま
right?
りました
As
ので
always.
ちょっと
Yeah,
コン
so
セプ
I
ト
think
アートを
with
ご
this,
紹介
they
してい
haven't
きたい
really
と思います
gone. I can't remember
And
if they
finally, our
went too much
plans
into
have come
this.
together, so we do have concept art of that to show you.
こちらです
Oh yeah, that's right. This is the moon stuff. So I think this is the new
どこ行
firmament,
くんだよっていう
the
感じなんです
firmament
けど
type stuff
Wow, where are
for
we going now?
100 on the
ご覧
moon.
の
Yep,
通り
it's,
ですね
it's starting
No,
restoration.
it's different planets, that's
right,
Government
it's
different
enclave
planets.
コンテンツは
Yeah.
さまざまな惑星に
And the
訪れていただ
planet
きます
changes and the
So as
the
perhaps you can
restoration
guess, the next
resets.
lifestyle content will take you
as
to
they- as
various
patches come
different
out.
planets.
一つの星だとねなんかちょっと絵が変わらないじゃないですか今回いただこうかなと
This will be good because this will help give power
so-
leveling
It'll let me go.
to
あ
crafters.
と言います
Cosmetic.
Well, I think-
or
I think
cosmic-
it's-
Cosmic
It's really
exploration.
nice that they have like
こ
the
ちらのコンテンツはですねソロで
the like
もちろ
it
ん参加することは
resets
できま
on
すけ
like
ど
patches and
皆
stuff like
さ
that
んで
because it
力
kind
を
of gives it
合わ
like
せて
almost like a
発展
Tarkov
させてい
feel
くもの
kind
に
of
な
thing.
っています
Like where like
One
oh well I
piece.
finished but
One
when
piece.
come next patch I'm gonna have to want to like jump back in and
順次
It'd be cool if they
And
let people
do it all.
see the planets, like you don't just lose out on
About
being
Saint
able to see the
Seiya.
previous planets.
コスモ
To
していきましょうユーされた
we'll tell you more
ではこちら
about our new
All right,
alliance.
so
raid.
new alliance raid
前回こちら
is
ですね
based on
ア
Final
ライアンス
Fantasy
レイド
XI.
どうなるかというと
Echoes
こ
of
ろは
Vandeal.
MMORPG としての大先輩でもあり運営開始からねなんと21年を誇るファイナルファンタジー11をテーマにした内容で
second iteration of something
お
that
届け
came
して
from
まいり
11.
ます
For those
So
who
as
are
we've told you
unaware,
before, this alliance raid will be
the
based on
Stormblood
FF11,
extra
who
areas
is our
are an 11
great
knockoff.
senpai in the field of MMOs, having been running for
Yeah, Eureka.
21 years now.
Yeah, Eureka.
今、開発制作を進めるにあたってちょっとご紹
So this is the 24-man.
Oh,
This is one of the
someone you
bosses
介
for the 24-man.
闇を
Is called
I mean it's 14's older brother so I mean like you
Yeah.
gotta
how he
こちらもですね
To boost up the potential future sales.
spells.
I'm
but for
waiting
now,
for
just
them
know that
to
Echoes of
offer
Vandeal is coming
11 for
at
free
set
if
from
you have a
7.1.
14 subscription.
はいではアライアンス
Like
レ
it's
イドを
about time.
紹介しましたので
So the 8-man,
こちら新たな物語
8-man
が
actually looks kind of
開
cool.
幕
They
とな
haven't shown
る
anything really,
8
but
人
the
レイド
concept for
に
it.
関してもお伝えしてまいります
And we have another new
remember-
story coming with the 8-man raid.
They said the name of it and they just showed
さあ
like a
こちら
concept
もです
picture.
ね
That's it.
Yeah,
コン
but
セ
the
プトアート
translation
が
of the
仕上
name
がりましたの
was
で
important.
そちらを見ていただこうかなと思います
We have a concept art for that as well, so let's start by taking a look.
I love that it looks like a graphics card.
ああ
Yeah, everyone
Side
making the joke.
mounted on a building.
拡張パッケージのねアートとかけ離れすぎていて何なんだ
Cyberpunk
This is really
2077. What?
different from our art for the expansion in general.
GPU って言ってる
Is this a GPU or what?
グラフィックボードが起立してるって言ってる
I definitely see a graphic board in there.
ツイッチと YouTube 特にツイッチがですねすごい型番めっちゃ連呼してますねみんな
You don't all know a lot about this hardware.
まあ一体どこなのかねそう何なのかさっぱりわかんないと思います
But what is this? I'm sure you have absolutely no idea.
でも皆さんグラボっぽいなって言ってるやつあれがレイドの舞台です
But that thing you think looks like a graphics board, that is actually the stage for our raid.
冷却したくなるって言ってるこちらレイドタイトル決まっております
The raid title has been decided, and it is
四天のザ・アルカディアというシリーズが、こちらレイドタイトルとなりますさてどんな物語になるんでしょ
The Arcadion. What sort of story will it be, I wonder?
う、こちらもですねレイドならではの多数の新キャラクター登場予定となっています
Of course, there will be a myriad new characters coming with this raid.
物語はですねファイナルファンタジー14完全
What?
オ
We
リ
don't
ジナ
get
ルストーリー
Themis
とし
again?
て
What?、
今制作が進んでおります
And the story itself will be a complete FF14 original.
もちろんですねストーリーを進めていく、まあ、難易度ノーマルと、難易度が高い霊式それぞれちゃんと用意してあります
Of course, we will have the normal mode for you to enjoy the story, as well as the higher difficulty Savage.
パッチ 7.0 リリースから、まあ、おおよそ1ヶ月ぐらいで、ノー
Arcadion
マルと霊
defines
式と順次
meeting
公
your
開してい
Arcadian
く予
makes
定
you
ですの
clever,
でぜひ
quick-minded,
楽
or
しみにお待ち
ambitious
くだ
with
さい
good business
We will
sense.
be releasing normal and Savage in sequence about 1 month after 7.0.
まあ同時だとね焦っちゃうんでねはい
If
Yeah,
it was at
month
the same
after
time, you'd
7.0.
feel rushed, I think.
Some of the jokes, some of the best
Sadeva.
jokes from this, by the way, came out as like people were like, "Well, you can't call it A, right? Because we've already got Alexander." And they were
Yeah.
like, "Well, you just call it GPU 1060, 1070, 1080, 1090."
8人レイドご紹介しましたので
So that is our 8-person raid.
The 12th boss will be
高難易
the
度
CEO
の
of
レイド大好
Nvidia.
きだっていう
That's who the
方
final
ってど
boss
れぐら
is
いいま
of
す
the
か
raid tier.
And who likes the highest difficulty raids?
ありがとうございます最近ね
Yes, they're gonna announce the. This is where they announce the
A
new
lot of
Ultimate.
people playing Ultimates.
さあ
Some people, a lot of people kind of saw this coming a little bit because a lot of people were sitting there questioning how they're going to do the Stormblood story one.
And we
If
will
they kept it in
have a
same
new
order.
Ultimate raid.
次なるですね絶も
My
現在
question is if they're gonna go back and
制作
do
順調に進んでおります
Like a Xenos.
The planning and development for this
I
is
don't know,
already moving
like
along.
sa te 今回
like doing the
何が
Stormblood
テーマ
because they
に
pretty much skipped
なるかと
Stormblood
言
with
いま
this.
すと
Yeah.
As for the theme,
何でしょ
what will it be?
う聞いてみようゼノス
Xenos.
こちらどうですかどなたか死生獣ああなるほどね順番に来とるやんと
I would hope for like a Warlet one too. I know a lot of people want Four
死
Lords
生
as well.
獣ね死生獣以外で何かありま
We're
すか
thinking we're going to go in order of.
エデン
Let's pick-
ああなるほどエデンね
Eden.
エデンね
Eden.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting pull, right? I mean,
次なる
because
絶コンテンツは希望のそのエデンのとあるストーリーをモチーフとした内容になります
I mean,
So part of
theoretically
the
they
story
did
from
Dragon
Eden
Song,
will
and
be
they
our
also
theme.
did
こ
Omega,
ちら
right?
の
So
ア
they
ート見
theoretically
覚
did
えもち
Stormblood.
ろんありますよね光の戦士の皆さん
I'm sure you remember this art.
レイドタイトルは 絶もう
Futures
一つの未来という名称になりました。
And so the title will be Futures Rewritten Ultimate.
この名称ですね、パッチ 5.4 のものです。
So
And
that'll
along
be interesting to see.
forward to planning to release
そしてアップデートしていきますよというお知らせだけしておきます。
Is there
Can't wait to
just
fight
some
Dad,
quick updates on
Dad
our
Crid,
ongoing
or
content
sorry,
updates.
Thanjeet in
さまざまなコンテンツ
Ultimate,
アッ
like
プデー
as
ト
part of
し
the
ていきま
Ultimate.
すので、こち
Yeah.
ら、
We have quite a few things we'll be updating.
まあこれらは 7.X シリーズでも順次アップデートしていきますよというお知らせとして受け取っておいてく
Gold
ださい。
Saucer update.
So basically, all you need to know is that we will be updating all of these things over the course of 7.x.
カットシーンコストの非常に高い
They're doing more Hildebrand.
ヒルディブラン
I
ド
wonder
の
if
の way.
Hildebrand's just going to be the way we do
開発もやりたいということなの
we
で、
do,
ヒルディまた活躍してくれることになりました。はい。
relics.
I hope not.
Hildebrand is really eating up our budget with his fancy cutscenes, but the development team really wants to do it, so there will be more Hildebrand.
それから PVP のアップデートも本格的にスタートする
I'm personally not a fan of
7.1からになります。まあ7.0はね、
Yeah,
皆さ
so
んメイ
I'm
ンストーリー
excited
や
that they're doing
所
more
有の
variant
レベルアップで
dungeons.
忙し
I
いと
think
思
those
う
are
ので、
good.
7.1 か
I'm
ら
interested to see what
い
they're
ろんなもの
doing
が
for
スタ
the
ート
deep
していくことになり
dungeons.
ます。
Our major PvP updates will be starting from 7.1 because we feel you have plenty to keep you occupied with 7.0.
What?
それからですね、世界中でかなりお声を
This is
頂戴
something
し
new
て
they're
い
adding is
る
field operations.
Feel
They didn't really go into what it was.
in the style
It's the it's Eureka
タ
Baja.
イプの遊び
for a lot of players to
It's
participate in
it's a similar
simultaneously
type
in
of
order to
thing.
clear.
今後の
Yeah, but
Well,
it's,
it's-
the field operations is the same thing. Eureka and Baja are that. It's
So
just going to be a
please wait
new
bit and we'll give you some more
one, and
information.
it's probably they're going to make a new iteration on it, right? Like
時代も変わったな
Baja
と
wasn't
思
the
うん
same
で
as
すけど
Eureka.
Yeah, the way he made it sound was that it
ユーレ
was
カの話はもういいよみたいな反応も結構あったんで
wasn't
すよ。
quite
Yeah, the times
Baja
have really
or
changed, because I
Eureka.
remember
It
when we
was
started with
something
Eureka,
different
everyone was
because
like,
they
"Oh,
had
Eureka?"
wanted to build out that
まあでも
encyclopedia, so it
諦
was
め
just
ず
a
に
collection
で
of
すね、しっか
things
り
that you would get
遊び
maybe
のね
outside
そう
of
いった枠の
inside the
遊びの
regular
一つ
game.
としてまあアップデートやりきった結果次
I
な
want to get to the graphical, the big
forward to
graphics updates.
なんですが、
One more.
欧州ファンフェスでお伝えしました。
Oh yes, that's right.
リセットジョ
Beastmaster
ブ
is
まあ
the
パッチになり
new
ます
Latter half.
the new pull
魔術界
that they're
を
doing for the special
実装
class.
させ
So
ていた
like
だき
Blue
ま
Mage,
す
this will be a non-regular
Beastmaster.
class that can be done
まあ
every
リミテッ
time
ド
with
ジョブです
some
の
extra
で、
things
まあ
that
ソ
go
ロで
with
も
it.
遊べ
I'm
る
sure
し、
they'll do some kind of a
リミ
raid
テッドジョブ同士
iteration
の
like
パ
they
ーティー
have
でも
with the
遊べる
Blue
ような
Mage.
企画というの
You
も
probably
今
can blend
試作成
these two
進み
groups
始めてい
together.
ます。
So have a couple of Blue
As a
Mages and a
limited
couple
job,
of
of course, we are
Beastmasters.
proceeding.
I'm sure
with
that they'll
plans
probably
to allow you to
update the
play
achievements
solo
too
or,
of
in
like
parties with
clear,
other limited
getting
jobs.
clears of to get like the marble instead of like
魔術界という
only using
One
blue
include
mages.
Beastmaster,
何
yeah.
かしら
Yeah.
ねこうちょっと収集
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what this does to like the
actually-
actual what it will be for
That
actual
is a-
game content.
Tsugi.
All right, so that
what
was
I-
the updated stuff.
今回は
So here is
今
the. This is where we're probably gonna pause a little bit and
バグ
do a little bit more discussion.
You want to see
Is this graphical update stuff? So I want to walk through each of these.
グラフィック
left will
Um,
be showing
so
the current or original
left is
version,
current
and on the
game.
right will
スアップデート
and then this is new game. So I think the biggest thing we can see, obviously, right, is hair definition is better. The lip definition, that was the one thing that struck me, was like your lips aren't like just flat on your face. They're really like more defined here. A softer eye expression, so like when it looks like you're smiling, it actually looks like, you know, like this to me is like resting bitch face, right? And then you just get like something that doesn't look like resting bitch face. But yeah, not too much, right? There's still a lot of similarities between these characters, so it's not like a huge cut against the character itself, but enough that it like it looks more polished.
Yeah, and definitely, and I know like a lot of people are like saying like they actually looks like they have life in their eyes now, too.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look like a dead doll.
Yeah,
It
I
actually
feel
looks
like
it's an alive person.
the combination of the like graphical update on like the actual character and the gear stuff and the lighting, all three combined are like really what's gonna is what's making this look so much better. I think if you lose one, maybe the gear like less so, but if you lose one, you lose a lot out of the whole.
Oh yeah, I mean, look at the definition in just this gear, right? You get the actual embellishments inside the armor, which is really pretty.
まずやっぱりか
So that was
You can see
持ってるので
human variant, basically.
アップにもご注
Or
意。ミッドラン
here,
ダー女性です
you're female.
アップデートそれからのあり
So again, yeah, you got embellishments on the armor. You got lip definition. Eyes look a little more, you know, alive. And then hair, you're getting more individual strands versus just blotches of color. Definitely a big, and like the shading, like look at the difference in like how far down the chin shade comes down to actually give it neck definition. Definitely getting some good pushes here on the art
And
detail.
updated.
まあやっぱり髪の毛の質感それから
Also, the
ボリューム
ear definition
アップしてます
changed well on all of them too. And that's
As you can
big,
see,
especially on like the
hair
longer
texture, as
eared.
well as the way
characters.
the volume is portrayed are quite different.
Yep.
Look at the the shadows that go along with it, and the
So here's the other
shine of
variant
the
of-
skin are very clear. As well as the
here.
shadows that go along with it.
So softer skin tone here, right? Hair's a little more defined, get a little more definition in the ears. Again, armor is more defined. These scars look a little more polished out, right? So like this is like a sore, this is like sticks out like a sore thumb, right? And then you're getting more of like, oh, I've had this for a while. Here's a scar on my face. Whoop.
And the shine of the skin
Definitely,
are
yeah,
very
the shine on the skin, like
Yeah.
Lori just said.
まあ今まではね
It's really
テ
big.
クスチャーでなんとか
Especially for, like,
馴染ませて
darker
いたみたい
complexion
な部分
characters.
がより
Yep.
自然な形
of textures look in there, but it's a lot smoother now.
見ましょう
And now for a Highlander female.
こちらが現行の状態
I guess the last one was Highlander male, sorry.
こちらがグラフィックスアップデート版となってい
And
ます
updated.
まあ目鼻立ちっていうのがまあ非常に鮮明にな
Yeah, so like a lot of the same stuff. Armor, you know, lip, you're getting more definition. The face doesn't look as chonk, right? You're getting more contouring with the face.
って例えば髪の
I feel like some of the hair,
生え
like,
際がかなり
I-
自然に
maybe
な
just
った
because
ん
it
じゃない
says
かと
stealth
思います
frames, right?
As
Kinda
you
comes
can
off
see,
kinda
it's become
weird.
A lot more natural,
Yeah.
especially
With the new
around the
updates.
hairline.
But I do like the
あとは
the
こう
brooch
目
was
元
big
の
for
精
me.
悍さみたいなとこ
Yeah.
ろ
The metal
より
change.
はっきりしましたので広がったと
You're
思い
getting more
ます
shine, like more
Fine,
actual
so
what
that
looks
will
like
allow you
shine
to
of
get-
the
エレ
metal.
ゼン見ていきましょうエレゼン男性です
Take a look at the Ellison male.
こちらがグラフィックスアップデ
Yeah,
ート
like
And
the
the updated
softness,
version.
right? This looks so rigid, and then like it's just softening down to give it more life. I'm really liking a lot of the like. Yeah, I can see like some of the hair detail gets a lot, right? You're getting more
な
color,
ったんじゃないかなと
color
思います
hue
He-
versus
he's
just a
こ
solid
ちらが
white.
現行となりま
So
す
female
エレ
Ellison.
ゼン女性こういった形で
This one was to me was the one I felt like was a really bigger, like a lot bigger difference than the other ones. Like face shape really changes here.
Yeah.
Eyes even get bigger almost. They're a little bit bigger. It all looks good, but it's just a big, like, it definitely to me felt like this was two different characters for sure.
Dated
Instead of just a
version.
character that was updated
まあ
with the
もう特に
original.
ね全体的にやっぱりこれに
I think it's
あたりちょっとねセルフシャドウ
I
shadow.
believe it was
I
in
think-
London
Oh,
Fan Fest. I know some people were like questioning me on it, but like I was pretty sure in London Fan Fest they said that they were adding more faces as well.
Yeah, I don't remember that piece of it. I can't say for sure whether it did or didn't happen. I just can't
Here,
remember.
you can
Yeah,
I think
see
with
I-
these new
improvement to the
updates, they
material
can
quality
add
of the
more
leather.
stuff like that, so it's definitely a
Yeah.
plus.
Piece of leather.
もういいんじゃないアップデート版となります
And this is the
So I
updated
think-
version.
Where things are really gonna get interesting is like the fur and whatnot on some of these off races, right? So like
Yeah, I think-
definition within the ears for sure. Again, I think face kind of shrinks a bit, right? You got a little bit taller here versus this being a little bit smaller, and then the eyes are more cat-like. Like you're getting a lot brighter here with the iris being upwards, but then you're getting really well done eyes on this one.
Yeah,
まあやっぱ
I mean,
唇
like
の
you also like you
ツ
actually
ヤ
have
とか
like
ですね
hair shadow
髪
is
の毛
another
の
thing
こうふん
too
わりした雰囲
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
bangs.
気目元のこういうシャープさっていうところがよりこう皆さんね調整して
Nose
行きやす
shape
くな
is
っ
a
たんじゃな
little
いかなと思い
more
ます
smooth, right? Instead of being
but
blocked.
the lip
What
shine,
you like?
the
You want
hair,
more
it's sort of
pixels?
fluffy
What?
texture.
More pixels. They couldn't add
It's
more
more of a
pixels
hot-
to the
And
grapes.
let's take a look at the Mikote female.
はいこちらが現行版となります
This is the original
そしてこちらがアップデート版です
and the update.
この
It definitely feels like
肌
on a
の
lot of
褐
these the
色っ
heads
て
get
いう表現
a
もで
little
す
bit
ね
smaller.
まあ単なるこれまではちょっと色の調整みたいな
Yeah, I mean,
形
like
だったんですが
they're
より
smoothing
こうやって
things
ツヤ
out
が
more,
出
right?
せるように
As
なって
opposed to it being like a bunch
関
of
東の方が
triangles
暗いと
stacked,
ころ
right?
だと
They're
本当
they're
に
actually getting
潰れ
more
てしまってたん
smooth
ですけど
Yeah.
on a lot
暗
of
いところ
this.
でも褐色の肌を使っている場合に色が潰れない
Depth, you will not be different.
段そしてこちら
Female
が
robe.
グラフィックスアップデート版
Again,
This is the updated
stars
version.
are a little more softened.
Whoa.
Let's get
純
this for
粋に
all
全部
characters,
パワーアッ
please.
プみたいな
Beards for all
感じに
characters,
なってま
please.
す
I just feel like
I mean, the
generally
Rose
we
have always
powered
have
enough.
had the beards.
やっぱもと
No, I
もと
know, but I want
の
them
こ
for all
の
races.
顔のね
Oh, yeah.
凹凸表現というのが
It's where the lava fell.
僕らに影響が
You got a
大き
beard
に
right
して
there. Boom.
Yeah.
Organ and faces.
その
The
フレンド
dwarf
にも
one.
まあその
Friend who is in light of these.
The female
Thank you very
Rogan.
much.
ありがとうございます
This one, I think they
大きな拍
softened
手をい
the
ただいて
forehead
ますありが
a
とうご
little
ざい
bit
ます
Thank you
more.
very much.
Like, I felt like the forehead was a bit softened. Lips obviously are better.
I feel like Rose went from have like more of a realistic nose is one of the big things.
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely like this blockout is definitely better with it being more rounded.
Much.
性
Part of
がなんじゃないかな
some.
が当たったと
I think we're
So-
gonna get
Oh, it
into
looked-
Vieira, or we're gonna get into
こちらが
Lawfels.
アップデート版
And updated.
もうね違いがわからないぐ
Well,
らい
bells.
こだわってアップデートしま
So
Yeah,
mouth
a lot of
got a
people have-
little wider here. Hair, obviously more definition. Ears, more definition.
I think one of the big things for the Lolathon, I think they even call on it, is the scarf. You can actually, this is where you can really see the graphical update on the scarf.
Yeah,
You can
like
see there's
the-
like lines
the
and
ribbing,
like
yeah,
yeah.
and then the metal, the gradients of the metal as opposed to just being
Awesome.
one solid color. With,
So we actually tried so hard to update this that we maybe can't tell the difference.
まあ髪はねまあわかりやすいアップデー
I think the female
トした
looked
The image we
significantly
Oh,
better
hold
in its
all
change.
rounded out for this.
さえ表現されてこのようになってま
Yeah,
す
so here's you're seeing a little bit more here. More of the shadowing and
Who's been updated like this.
ララフェル女性もですねやっぱり先ほどお伝えした
She
通り
actually
男
has
性
like
と同じように
definition in her
とにか
ear
く
as
自然
opposed to
さを
just being
徹底
like
して
a
愛くる
chocolate
しさを
wedge.
残したまま
Right
さらに
there.
細かくキャラメイク調整できるように、不審してます
As with the Lalafell males, we wanted to prioritize making them look more natural while still keeping them very cute and lovable. And
they're
we
always
think
cute
we've
and lovable.
はずというところこだ
Never
わ
take that
so
away.
depth of the
りますよね
some. There's
言
top.
ってるいますねデート版となってます
And here's the
So
updated version.
yeah,
まあやは
I
り
think
この
Ora
くらい
really got a big update
肌
here too. Definitions in the scales
Oh,
for
the
sure,
horn,
right?
yeah, the scales and the horns are the big thing.
Scales and the
Like
horns
that-
are huge. Instead of just being blotches of color on the face, you're actually feeling like you're seeing scales on top of the hair and lip changes that are across
に
all
した時の
softness of the
まあ
eyes
肌の質
again,
感表現っていうの
roundness
が
of the
めちゃくちゃわ
nose.
かりやすいですし本当にねテク
Scales.
See if we can get the female on here.
アウラ滑らかなね
Yeah, it's the same thing here. This horn definition is huge. This is what people have really wanted. The lightness of the scales here instead of them being dark blotches on the body. Definitely gotta come in handy when they give more customization to
アウラは
characters.
描画をこう雰囲気を再現ことも
While you slightly
ですねちゃんとく
I
だ
also want to see what the
And in
darker scales look like.
さい
Yeah,
早くグラフィックスメイクするのでいただく使って
it won't get. Next we have update.
やっぱり最も大きな恩恵は ファーシェーダ
more
ーと呼ばれ
darkening
る
around the
毛並み
lips
専
to
用
give
の
more
さっきアウラで目
definition
でした
and
けど、
volume.
今回ファーシェー
Ears
ダー
have
と呼
more
ばれる
definition
毛を
here. Eyes have more definition.
特別に描画するっていうのが
There's only so much they can
実装され
do
ましたので
with
こ
the
れが
with
一
like
番大きいです
because they are like all as well.
完成ですねやっぱり
Because
Viera.
if they're gonna if they're gonna go into like full like realistic like fur textures, it
まあ
would do.
元理想
No one would be able to run the
やっぱり
game.
こういうのが多分
Yeah.
あって完成つい
So,
続いてこちら
and the
Female
updated.
Viera.
This hair really shows off the shadow
今
differences.
回のね
Yeah, look at that.
全体的な
Male Viera.
仕上がれるよう
The
に
hair
なってま
itself
す
is lighter, but you're getting these undertones
So
of
as you can see,
darkness.
she's quite dark-skinned, and our new shaders can handle that level of dark skin.
正直14このぐらいのやると
Yeah, it just looks really good. It looks really polished.
And now also,
いくつか
So here
持ってき
comes
ま
the
したの
dual
で
dye
見ていこうかと
channels.
思います。
I've brought some sample images, so let's take a look.
これがですね現状の状態
So the original, there's one dye.
Original, and then in the middle we have the one dye channel dye affecting the cape.
でこれがですね今回鈍い選手
Now you will
And
have
then
two dye
two
channels
dyes.
to be
This
able
is
to create
huge.
something
This is
like
gonna
this.
make so much more customization. Here's another
の状
one.
態までの染色
One dye.
Dye capability.
なくて
Yeah, but why do you choose yellow and red?
染色できるようになるのでまあこういった色の違いだ
I think they just wanted to show the contrast.
But now you can
Yeah.
dye both.
That looks really like this. This to me is exactly what people have wanted, right? So you get like it's brown, and I wanted it to be black, but now I want to be able to have an accent color that's different. And this is
Yeah.
huge.
これはしてるので
I think different piece of gear.
All right, so
布の
OG.
染色できて
Look
ま
at these
した
stripes. Look,
And how it
this
looks
is
to dye
great.
it right now, just dyeing.
になるのでこういった
And then changing it.
Also, him like talking about like the
In the
brown
future,
on
this
this
is what it will
one
look like with
being
two dye
like
channels.
not changing
皮全体皮の部分はですね
and like being saying sorry for it. I think it's perfect because like for specifically for this piece of gear, because I brought it up because like if you go buy this like a jacket like this in the real world, that brown piece is gonna be brown even if the
It's gonna
rest
be
of
brown,
the
yeah.
thing's blue. Yeah, it's gonna look like
細
that.
かくなっていて
It looks really good.
できるかっていう
Yeah. So I think that little leather strip not dying is perfectly fine.
Adopt specification.
For sure.
To the
まあ
All right, let's see.
なのでます。
So
す
again,
でにね
these
お
were
知
we
らせ
talked about these
させて
before.
いただい
This
て
is
ますが、
minimum
ぜひ
requirements,
ご確
recommended
認
system
の上です
requirements.
ね
This is、the
準備の方よろしく
projected
お願いし
minimum
ます。
requirements and recommended
we have announced
changes
these
to
previously, but if you have not yet taken a look
to
at
the
PC 環境
7.0 expansion with the
これらっしゃる
graphical updates.
ね、くださですね、ピーします。
today,
ですが、フリートライアル拡大しており
Yeah,
ます。
free trial expanded to
As we
Stormblood. That
mentioned
was
previously, we have
back
also
last in
expanded the free
6.5.
we try
ならないお友達見つけたとさせて。
just run into
So
Yeah, that already
doing
happened,
the
didn't it?
open beta test in
yeah, it
February.
happened in 6.5.
As
Not
far
6.5,
as Xbox goes,
6.5.
we will be beginning the
and
open
then-
beta test in February.
February
こちらはですね、
begins Xbox's ability to be able to play
Yes,
Final
okay.
Fantasy, so that'll bring in more players who want to play.
And
We are still getting the 16 crossover. It has been marked to being in a 6.5x patch, so it'll be
Continuing our development
either
of this
5,
new
it'll either
crossover with
be
FF16.
7, or it'll either be 8.
ちょっと
I
前
don't
ぐ
think
らい
it's gonna be
They're planning
5.5.
for early, it
そうだと
won't
思
be
い
in
ますの
5.5,
で
so it'll be 7 or 8.
欧州
Yeah.
ファンフェスティバルでね、
So as we've mentioned, where to have says that
くださ伝え
playing
ファンフェ
song.
ス
Yeah, totally thought.
So here's where the female Hrothgar, you can see a little bit better the facial structure that we were talking about before. A little more face. Looking a little more natural here. But yes, big muscle mommy energy going on here with female Hrothgar.
It's also good they're not hunched over, too.
Yeah, they're not getting the hunched over look. But yeah, all
I know
looks really
a
good.
lot of people don't like that with the the Milroths.
ありがとうございます。大変お待たせいたしました。キャラクターとして
Finally be implemented.
候補の中からできる限
So
り
this
し
will
な
be
やかな
7.0. Then this will come out. They haven't said whether the you pre-order you'll get a Fantasia or if you order
こち
the
ら設定ですが、
game.
まあ
He said he's
イン
giving
スタワードに
Fantasias for it so he can
種
swap the
族
routes.
を持って
From Ilsabard.
ので、これまでもお伝えしてきたんですが、女性の出生比率が少ない。
Because especially because just because of the
優
graphical
れた
update, just in general, I think
傑物をね、
I
輩
think
出してい
it's
ます
not even going to be a pre-order or
So you will be aware
a
of
buy
this,
bonus. I
from
think
the
just
setting you have in
buying
game already, but female
uh,
Hrothgar are typically rare.
the
but they do
expansion is
have
gonna give
surpassing
everyone a
leadership
Fantasia.
qualities.
今回のものは、
I have a home in Yaktel.
彼女らと皆さん
And of course, you will be able to play as them as well.
にしたい。
So he mentions
There's this will
that
be the last
he
one.
thinks that this will be the last one, but he can't say for certain because something something could always happen. So he's not committing
どうなるか
to
は
female Hrothgar
ありま
being
せん
the last one.
But
先ほどね、冒頭ご
I'm
紹
sure
介
they
した
don't- new
女
NPC.
性キャラクター
they
ウクラマ
don't
とも
want
ロスがある女性です。
Yeah, they don't want to
ぜ
go
ひです
through
ねウクラマ
another
と
race,
非常に魅
but
力
they're
的な
not
キャラクターになってい
closing
ます
the
ので、
door on
こ
it.
ち
yeah.
忘れ物も皆さんにお伝えしま
okay.
して締めにしたいと思います。
Here's the art.
I think the poster's cool, but also like there's also
はい、こちら吉田
about
明子さん
3 or
書き
4
下ろしの
characters we don't know
アート
who
とと
they
も
are
に
yet.
記帳
Yeah, we don't have any
を
idea
ended
したい
already.
と思います
So with this art from Yoshida Akiko, we will end the keynote. Thank you.
発売になり
That
ます
wraps up the keynote. So we'll switch back to 2cam. I'm excited for what this is going to bring to 7.0. I mean, obviously, it's a new expansion. We get a bunch of game. Some of us are going to have to play through it, 3 and 4 and potentially 5 times in order to be able to get all of our characters up to date. But yeah, it'll be good. I'm excited for all of the stuff that they've kind of shown off so far. I'm interested to see what the date is, how late in the year it's going to be.
August 31st.
August 31st. No, well, yeah, you could do August 31st. Well, September's still summer, technically, from the solstice.
September 14th.
Yeah, September 14th. 7 days shy of the solstice, of the summer solstice.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. It's a lot of good stuff. The 2 jobs look good. I know that there's been speculation that that Pictomancer probably won't be used as much in raids, but I think past history has said that like people really want to try the new jobs, and so they're gonna try to rip them in. So people
Also,
will
just
use
depends
them.
on balance and stuff like that, and like we might want. I mean, like you're already gonna. We're probably gonna have res mage no matter what as like prog, but when it comes to like really trying to like get like those like Bars groups together, stuff like that, I think it's probably going to be Dancer, Pictomancer, with like the 2 highest melees.
There's some speculation that they might get rid of the double melee requirement, so they'll go with like the raids will be something more formed to like not needing 2 melees in order to run. So I mean, if the DPS is there or the buff is enough to make make up for the DPS that would be lost, and it would be more like a black mage damage with buff included, then I think it'd be viable to drop a melee and put a ranged in the melee spot and give yourself another potential buff. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays when we get the media tour that they'll do later in the year, to kind of show more of it off and more of the changes that they're going to be bringing to the other classes, and how they'll blend with everything else. I have a sneaking suspicion that that they might take res from Summoner this time, and leave it just with Red Mage. So that'll be interesting to see if they end up doing that.
I don't
So-
think they would do that though.
I don't know. They thought that they were going to get rid of it before.
No, they need to get rid
uh,
of physic. Is what they need to get rid of.
Yeah. But
They-
it's
they
always a
need physic-
potential that they could.
they need Physic to upgrade through a trade
Yeah.
into another skill.
Yeah,
Um,
I just don't know if I don't know if Summoner's gonna make it out with Res on the other side come 7.0. That's all I'm gonna put that out there. And leave it just with Red Mage. But yeah, I think it's good. I'm excited. I'm excited for 7.0. I really want it to be here, but obviously we're gonna be waiting through to the summer. Lots of fun stuff to be done between now and then. They did mention that they would probably bring back the Fall Guys event. I'm interested to see with the Fall Guys event if they're going to be adding new arenas or if they're just going to be rehashing the same stuff. They've talked about doing yokai. We've got the Final Fantasy 16 event. I'm sure they'll potentially do the 15 event again between now and the X-Pack. So I mean, definitely stuff that they could definitely do between now and then to kind of fill the void. But I think everything we're seeing is all positive stuff. I'm just more interested in seeing what the date is.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think what everyone you just want Dawntrail. That's pretty much it. Like, yeah, there's like stuff to look forward to before then, but what the things that you're really wanting are you wanting Viper, you wanting Pictomance, or you wanting the new story, the new 24. That's right, the new 8-man, the new 24-man. Right, the
Yeah.
graphics up is gonna change a lot of stuff, just in general. Dual die channels. That's a whole 120 hours of playtime. Every single person remixing their glamours.
Yep.
So,
I was actually surprised they didn't do some kind of a glamour update. If I'm going to be totally honest. I was kind of hoping that they were going to.
they might have just not mentioned it, right? Or saving it for a 7.1 or
Or
7.2.
maybe the media tour. They'll do some kind of an update, talk about it with the media tour.
Yeah, because I'm sure there's plenty of stuff they haven't that's like some quality of life stuff that they're talking about and like thinking about doing that they haven't mentioned, right?
Right. And
Plus,
so
we
at
haven't
the
had
time
we haven't had a letter from the producer yet.
Yeah,
either.
we did not get a formal live letter for 5.5 or for 6.55. So that's a first. But and with that being said as well, it is 10:42 right now. We are 6 hours away from the patch going live, and the lodestone still is down. So I don't know if there's going to be a potential extension. You'd think that the website wouldn't take that long to get up if the hardware was up, but obviously they're running into some issues, or they're just holding off until the patch is ready to go live, for everything to function. But no patch notes yet. I know I have the alert for those in my Discord. I don't know if Bard keeps track of the Final Fantasy updates in his, but when those get posted, we'll be able to see those. So.
I mean, I'll probably go over them on my stream too, myself.
Yeah. Yeah, so that kind of wraps up today's episode. Lots of good stuff to pull from everything we've seen. I think they did a good job of giving us just tidbits of information, but not really spoiling anything for us too much. So it does make me very excited for what Dawntrail will bring. So. But yeah, Bard, do you have anything else you want to add?
No, not really.
Sweet. Well, I think we'll wrap it up. And again, in normal fashion, we don't raid out on podcast nights, so we are going to end here. But thank you guys for joining in. And for those who end up watching the VOD afterwards or watching it on YouTube, thank you guys for taking the time. And we will see you guys on the next episode. Have a great night.